Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Psychedelic Art Exchange YouTube channel. It's a new year. We're starting off pretty strong with some exciting auctions, at least we think so. Currently, we are running our January Collector Showcase auction. I don't think we've talked about the Collector Showcase auction on the channel yet, but these auctions feature about 50 lots that are a mixture of CGC and PAE graded items. They're always full of really amazing rare things that we don't see very often. So we're going to take a look at a handful of them today.
Yeah, the Collector's Showcase is the most recent addition to our auction calendar, and it's allowing the cream to float to the top. So we pick some of the best graded and non-graded stuff each month for this sale, and it seems to be getting a lot of interest and activity, and especially with material like this that's coming up. The first, the lead off on this is this early Allman Brothers piece from '71, like a month before Dwayne's death.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, Dwayne era Allman stuff is, it's the stuff that the collectors really want deep. I mean, not that the rest of the band's career, which was extensive, but the posters really of the most value and interest are from the Dwayne era. And this is from '71. It's from Austin. It's pink. It's on pulpy thin paper. It's just a lovely little design. And
Mm-hmm.
whenever we've had original Allman stuff in our sale, it does really well. And as a side note, I pulled out this piece that is a lot that is further back in the auction, but it's just a curiosity. But it's tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
It's from the blues show that we've been talking about in Philly, the Benefit, and this is just it's a copy of a contract for a Hammond B3, which is the greatest rock and roll instrument, really. I mean, the guitar aside, all the great bands had Hammond B3s, and Greg was a brilliant singer, and it really this is just a cool little piece. It's a little throw in if you're an Allman's freak. So that's what we're starting the show with, the Allman's
Yeah.
71 Dwayne era, and then there's just curiosities in here that would not on the surface appear to be anything, but this window card from Torquay, which was in southern England. It was a beach community, and they had a theater there that had the Yardbirds in '64 with Clapton
Mm-hmm.
in the band. This is very early. I mean, remember, '64 was the year that the Beatles hit the States. So you
Mm-hmm.
have the Yardbirds in the UK, and you also have the Kinks under the pretty things. You had the Kinks, and I mean, they ended up being one of the greatest British bands of all times, but they kind of missed the party because they were banned from touring in '65 for some stage fighting or some rowdiness. I can't remember the exact story, but they weren't allowed. They missed the party. So when all the other British bands were coming out in '65 and getting record sales, the Kinks were left behind.
Mm-hmm.
And really, they were the band that many of the other bands wanted to sound like. So anyhow,
Yeah.
I mean,
One of those your favorite bands.
oh yeah, I mean, the Kinks are, yeah. Anyhow, but yeah, Empire Ballroom, but authentic. And think about this, '64. This is a real meaningful piece. Anyhow, from there we go, to Bill Monroe, and we have this, hatch print that is, what year is it from? Do you have that in from?
I actually don't know if we know the year specifically. It was from the 1950s.
Yeah, this is a super early Hatch, and if you know anything about Hatch, it was the premier cardboard letterpress shop in Nashville, and Bill Monroe was the father of bluegrass music. I mean, these posters ought to get a lot more. I've always been curious, and bluegrass is cool now with Billy Strings.
It's cool now.
Bluegrass has always been one of our favorite music types, and this is. Again, if this was a Hank Williams piece and this scarce, even on cardboard, the father of country music, allegedly, it would be, really, really been on heavily. But
Mm-hmm.
anyhow, Bill Monroe, 1950s Hatch print. And
Awesome.
then springing forward to the '70s, we have one of the great punk bands of all time, The Clash. They were really, one of my favorites, along with the Ramones, Dead Boys, and, X. But, this is a Clash poster. It's not that sexy, but it's cardboard and it's right from the era. And the reason I pulled it is, it's an item from LA, which is a huge rock town, music town, and, just to bring a little bit of to the tragedy in Southern California.
Our hearts are with everyone that's affected by that right now. And the least we can do is talk a little bit about a piece of history that came from LA. And I believe that this show, it was in 79, was like 2 months before London Calling came out.
Really?
So that's kind of crazy. It's a very, very wild point in time.
That's a time machine show for sure.
Yeah.
And so that's the peak at the raw or the non-graded posters in the sale. And then we have a handful of some of the top, 3 high grade graded posters that everybody wants. Of the most beloved bands. We have this Grateful Dead poster, which is, this is one of Lee Conklin's best pieces. The 134, the Santana one is the one that gets the most interest. But after this really is an incredible poster. It's when they recorded Live Dead, which if you're a Dead fan, that's a pivotal point in the band's development. And it's so fiery, psychedelic, and melty. Lee was just, this poster's fire. Yes.
It was signed too, yeah?
It's signed by Lee in gold ink. And,
nice.
Yes, this material 10 years ago you could buy fresh on Wolfgang's, but it's all sold out. Yeah, there's going to be crisp copies, and there's going to be a handful of 9/8, but as this hobby collectible grows, this is where you want to be in the sweet zone for these posters, that there's more than a handful of mint copies. So, 162. And then we have 2 Bonnie McClain posters in 9/8. We have the Pink Floyd poster, which has gotten big money in auctions recently, and it's always been, one of the best Pink Floyd designs in the Fillmore series, if not the best. But I don't want to, pick favorites. But
it's like picking your favorite child.
Yeah, you can't do that. And then we have Bonnie's Doors poster, which is also, another huge favorite that always does well in our auctions, and in 9/8. So you have the pick of the run here. I mean, whether you're into the esoteric, if you're into ungraded, if condition doesn't matter to you, and if you're into graded material and you're a condition freak, then we got it all covered here.
Yeah, it's like a little treasure hunt. It's very fun.
So a little excitement for dreary January, other than, the NFL playoffs, which here in Baltimore is a little exciting right now.
It's a little exciting.
A little exciting. It's awfully cold, though. So, if you can entertain and cheer yourself up and warm yourself with some of these fine posters.
Well, there you have it. Again, this auction's open until Thursday, January 19th at 9:00 p.m. Eastern Time. You will find all the links you need below me in the description. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching us today. We're happy to have you here, and we will be back soon.
Thanks again.